India and China held the 23rd round of Corps Commander level meetings at the Chushul-Moldo border meeting point. This happened last week.
For decades, the line of actual control, the de facto border between India and China, has remained one of Asia's most dangerous flashpoints. Stretching nearly 3,500 kilometers across the Himalayas, it is not a formally demarcated line, but a shifting frontier, subject to differing perceptions, rival patrols, and simmering mistrust. Since the 2020 Galwan Valley clash, when 20 Indian soldiers and at least 4 Chinese troops were killed in the deadliest confrontation in decades, the border has witnessed the largest military buildup since the 1962 war. The standoff froze bilateral ties, disrupted trade talks, and pushed both sides into a tense new normal of armed coexistence at high altitude. Yet, in October 2025, a cautious note of de-escalation emerged. During the 23rd round of Corps Commander-level talks held at the Chushul-Moldo meeting point on October 25th, both sides agreed to continue using existing mechanisms to resolve ground issues and maintain stability along the border. The statement, released by India's Ministry of External Affairs and echoed by China's Defense Ministry, signaled a shared desire to manage, if not yet resolve, the long-standing military standoff. It was not a breakthrough, but a strategic pause. The message was clear. Both Beijing and New Delhi now recognize that economic priorities outweigh the costs of indefinite military confrontation. This latest round of talks builds on a multi-year process of controlled disengagement. India and China maintain 2 parallel dialogue tracks: the Corps Commander level talks, which bring senior military leaders face to face, and the working mechanism for consultation and coordination on India-China border affairs, which handles diplomatic engagement. After the October 2025 meeting, both governments emphasized continuing communication under the important consensus reached by the leaders, referring to the framework agreed upon by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Xi Jinping during earlier summits. That phrase, important consensus, has become a diplomatic shorthand for managing the border without escalating conflict. The results of these sustained efforts are visible, even if incomplete. The first tangible breakthrough came in Galwan in July 2020 and Pangong So in February 2021, where both armies agreed to physically disengage and dismantle temporary structures built during the clashes. Subsequent rounds saw similar withdrawals at Gogra Hot Springs, PP-17A, in August 2021, and Patrolling Point 15 in September 2022. Each pullback represented a small but significant step toward restoring stability along a volatile frontier. The most recent milestone arrived in October 2024, when both sides agreed to new patrolling protocols at Depsang and Demchok, effectively closing the longest-running flashpoints since the crisis began. However, the reality on the ground remains tense. Satellite imagery and independent assessments estimate that between 50,000 and 60,000 troops from each side continue to be deployed across eastern Ladakh, supported by heavy artillery, drones, and air assets. These forces are not engaged in direct conflict, but their presence ensures that full de-escalation remains a distant goal. For both militaries, the Himalayas are now permanently militarized, a reminder that stability along the LAC means coexistence under arms, not peace. What has made this fragile thaw possible is a combination of political calculation and economic pragmatism. The turning point came in August 2025. when Prime Minister Modi and President Xi met on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit. Both leaders, aware of the economic headwinds facing their countries, struck a notably conciliatory tone. They agreed that India and China are development partners, not rivals. A subtle but telling phrase that reflected a shift in diplomatic language after 5 years of icy silence. The economic incentives behind this restraint are undeniable. Trade between India and China hit record highs in fiscal year 2024 to 2025, reaching $136 billion. But the imbalance remains severe. India's trade deficit with China ballooned to $99.2 billion, underscoring its deep reliance on Chinese intermediate goods, electronics, and pharmaceuticals. For Beijing, maintaining stable ties with a fast-growing Indian market helps buffer against Western decoupling and sanctions pressure. For New Delhi, Chinese imports remain indispensable for sectors like renewable energy, manufacturing, and telecom components. The mutual dependence, however uneasy, has re-emerged as a powerful incentive for both sides to keep border tensions contained. Beyond economics, the two countries have been quietly reviving people-to-people and logistical links that froze after Galwan. Direct commercial flights have resumed. Cross-border trade through Nathu La and Shipki La has restarted in limited form. And high-level academic exchanges are being discussed once again.
Official statements now emphasize peace and tranquility, suggesting that coordinated patrolling and confidence-building measures are reducing the risk of accidental clashes. These steps may seem procedural, but in the fraught world of border diplomacy, even procedures matter. Still, the hardest question remains unresolved. Where exactly does the border lie? Since independence, India and China have never agreed on a mutually accepted map of the line of actual control. The 2005 Agreement on Political Parameters and Guiding Principles for the Settlement of the India-China Boundary Question remains the baseline document for any future settlement. It outlines the goal of a negotiated boundary, but progress has stalled amid shifting ground realities. As long as the LAC remains undefined, periodic flare-ups are inevitable. Analysts caution against reading too much optimism into the latest talks. The disengagement process, while steady, has not reduced troop numbers or changed the structural mistrust that defines the relationship. India continues to strengthen its border infrastructure and align more closely with Western partners through the Quad. China continues to expand its presence in the Tibet Autonomous Region and develop dual-use facilities near the frontier. Both nations speak of stability, but both are preparing for contingencies. Even so, the October 2025 agreement represents a pragmatic victory for diplomacy. It reaffirms that both governments remain committed to dialogue through established mechanisms, a crucial signal in an era when geopolitical crises elsewhere have shown how fast deterrence can fail. The outcome is less about solving the border issue and more about managing it, preventing an accidental slide back into confrontation. For India and China, the next challenge is translating stability into predictability. As one analyst observed, tensions won't disappear overnight, but sustained dialogue can prevent surprises. That is perhaps the best either side can hope for at this stage. The LAC may remain contested for years to come, but dialogue, not disengagement alone, is now the real measure of progress. The October 2025 talks have not erased the Himalayan divide, but they have built a narrow, fragile bridge of understanding across it. And in the hard terrain of India-China relations, even that is an achievement worth noting.